This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel Abraham, joined by Damon McDonald. Damon, I did have an intro planned where I was going to be all depressed and be like, do we have to talk about New Japan this week? Because honestly, I hate to start the show off on a down. I have been feeling very down on the product. But then I just watched the Korakuen show from today, particularly the main event with the junior tag title match, and that's made me really happy and put me in a good mood. I know you haven't seen it yet because you've just woken up. But how have you been feeling about New Japan as of late?
Wow. At least there's something to look forward to, right, Joel? It's been a rough week, right? I think for everyone involved in watching and in the company, and a lot of head scratching going on, and a lot of unfortunate scenarios that have played out. I mean, one. I don't know, where do you want to start? Which way you want to go? I think overall, my New Japan Pro Wrestling interest has been, I don't want to say shaken, but let's be honest, we're probably in a low point when it comes to where each of these wrestlers' storylines are progressing. That's one factor. Two, we have injuries that have put a knife through our heart. And three, we have returning pro wrestlers who have had a lot of issues since they've been away. So where would you like to start, Joel?
I think we should deal with the Marty Scurll thing first, because, well, we're questioning from whatever says, is NJPW unaware that Scurll brings nothing but bad PR? What's the upside to him now that they have the connections to two companies with a wealth of talented juniors? Well, it's more than two companies. I could think of plenty of companies who they could be getting talent from. But, so yeah, for people who are not aware, news came in this morning. Marty Scurll has been involved in the latest Strong tapings. He's apparently involved in an angle with Rocky Romero. So for people who don't know what came out last year, there were stories emerged during the Speaking Out movement that back in 2015, a 26-year-old Marty had sex with a drunk 16-year-old girl at an after-party for an IPW UK event. Marty issued an apology saying that he believed it was consensual. Then other stories emerged basically revealing that this girl had been taken advantage of by a number of members of the British wrestling scene. And yeah, the age of consent in the UK is 16, so technically he didn't break any laws. But did we have to fucking book this guy in New Japan, Damon? Like, really? Was this necessary? Did we have to do this? And, I'm not the kind of person who wants to apply purity tests to all the media I consume. I get it. There's no ethical consumption under capitalism and all that shit. I always say, right, you draw your own line in the sand as to what does and doesn't affect your enjoyment of a product. So if you can compartmentalise this thing and still enjoy Marty Scurll matches, then that's your prerogative. I'm not going to blast anyone for that. But personally, I would have been okay with never seeing this guy wrestle again. And it does raise wider concerns, because all of those problems we talked about last year when we discussed Speaking Out, I see no evidence that they've been meaningfully addressed, because it just, seeing what's going on in progress as well, it just feels like one big boys club where you catch some heat, lay low for a while, and then your buddies sneak you back in, no harm done. And there's a bigger conversation to be had here about the systematic sexual grooming of vulnerable young people, the abuse of power dynamics, about consent when someone's intoxicated. I'm not knowledgeable enough to tackle those topics. There are other people out there who will do that better than me. So I apologise if this is a cop-out, but within the remit of this stupid podcast that we do, looking at this from a New Japan fan perspective, and I don't want to get engaged in a whataboutism session. Yes, there are other wrestlers who've done bad things, and again, fans need to draw their own line, so I can only speak for myself, but I don't want to see Marty Scurll in New Japan. I don't think I'm alone in that. If you're in the same boat, I would recommend emailing New Japan if you feel strongly about it, or if you're really upset by it, just cancel your world subscription. Let them know why. But either way, Damon, this is not a good look for the company, is it?
No, it's not. And here's an even larger issue that I have is how much rope is New Japan Pro Wrestling going to ask of the fans to give? How many times and how many issues and how many things that people are asked, okay, turn a blind eye to this, okay, ignore this, okay. Like, there becomes a certain point where the water starts spilling out of the glass. And enough is enough. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like, when are you going to stop this and stop ignoring it? Because that's, in essence, what you have done for years. And again, there are people that have trickled away and have, there were certain people who had certain breaking points, and you've lost fans. Now, whether they've come back, I don't know. I don't know everyone. But I do know that each time that something like this happens, you lose a little bit. And not only that, you lose a little bit of faith in everyone who watches your product. Let me repeat that. You lose a little faith in everyone who watches this product. You sit there and you tell me you want to make headroads in the United States. You sit there and you tell me you want to make headroads in the UK. You sit there and you tell me that you want to be considered a destination place for pro wrestlers and fans who appreciate pro wrestling. And yet, you do stuff like this. This was a conscious decision by someone. Someone had to approve it to say, yes, we're okay with this. Yes, you're allowed in our company. Yes, you're allowed in our locker room. I want that to sink in. Because Marty admitted that he did this. And the young lady admitted that it happened. So there's no debating that. The debate now becomes, okay, as a company, where do you stand on this? What is your moral ground on this? Where do you stand? And countless times, people have been disappointed by New Japan Pro Wrestling's stand on this. Now, you can sit there and you can speculate and tell me, well, that the Japanese audience doesn't really care. You know what? You don't know what the Japanese audience cares and what they don't care about. And I just think as a company, knowing that they're okay with that is an issue that I have. And consistently, they have shown their cards in situations like this. Look, if you have a problem, I can certainly understand you saying, you know what, fuck this noise. Fuck this company. I'm out. I'm done. I can certainly understand that. And if you do have a problem, I'm going to be honest, the best way to do that is to send them a nice little note of why you are canceling your New Japan Pro Wrestling World subscription, whatever the fuck that network is called. I don't know. I made it a little longer than it probably necessarily had to be. You fill out that form on the website. You know how to do that. Leave some notes and step away. Find something else to enjoy your time and pass your time with. I do it. People are going to say, well, you do a podcast and you promote New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah, I do. But also, I know when something's wrong. And I know when something has to be said. And I also know that, and I'm not sitting here, I'm not fucking John Lennon here trying to change the world. But for Christ's sake, can a company stand up, have some fucking moral backbone and just be like, nah, we're good. We're good. We're going to pass on you. Thanks. I don't know, man. This is one of those things where I woke up this fucking morning and I knew I had to do this show. And I was like, you know what? This company has really fucking tested my patience. It really fucking has. I spend a ton of fucking money on this product. A ton over the years. I got the fucking credit card balances to prove it. And this is the fucking way they respond? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm like Mr. Hand. I don't know. I don't know, Joel. I don't know where the fuck I stand with this company right now.
We've got an interesting question from Dread and Roses. He says, Marty Scurll, do you think AEW or ROH put any pressure on New Japan to drop him? ROH let him go in spite of his role in the company. AEW's at least gestured at responses to that kind of behaviour. For example, Sammy Guevara's suspension. Do they have the leverage? Do they want to do it? How do you see this playing out, like the interplay between New Japan and ROH and AEW? Because obviously Marty Scurll has connections to all three of the companies now.
I don't know if there was any pressure or any, hey, can you put this guy? I think it was. Here's the thing. I don't know, and I would just be speculating, saying that this is how it went down. I don't know. The only thing I know is that the buck stopped with someone at New Japan that said, "Okay, let's go with it." Right. That's the problem that I have. I know that Ring of Honor, and I'm terrible at this because I get a lot of stuff mixed up with people and facts, and I want to make sure, that, especially in a situation like this, that I have it right. But Joel usually has a firmer handle on what actually happens. Ring of Honor did their own little investigation, correct? When he was booking on this.
Yeah, so they sort of gave him the book. He had a big role in the company, and then when all this news came out, he was dropped. He was cut.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking, ROH have seemingly washed their hands of him, and obviously he seemed to be quite close with people at AEW, like the Young Bucks and Cody. He's done a lot of work with them in the past, and they didn't seem interested in him. It's a real head scratcher why New Japan, and especially in the US division as well, and Strong thinking, yeah, we'll take him on, because like I said, Impact was right there.
And here's what we don't know. I mean, we know he was there. We had that confirmed. I mean, we know he was there, so the reports are accurate. I don't know if this is a long-term thing. We talk about Strong being like this hub of U.S.-based pro wrestlers getting work. And it could be just a situation of, hey, he's in for these tapings and then that's it. And I would not be surprised, as fucking wacky as this sounds, they use this as a litmus test to say, okay, do people still care about things like this? And if not...
Yeah, you think maybe they leak the story to see what the response would be?
Maybe. I mean, I know that if, I don't know 100%, but I was told, and I did read, that like people who work Strong have to sign non-disclosures. And again, I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but okay. Let's just assume that it is. Somebody felt the need to tell someone, right? If I'm not mistaken, it was Emily Pratt. Is it Pratt?
Yeah, Emily Pratt, Sean Ross Sapp as well.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, they were the first on it, so somebody told them. So, yeah, I mean, where are you with this? I mean, I know that you said I don't want the company to use him. Does this make you struggle to watch the product anymore?
I wouldn't say struggle to watch the product. I will struggle to watch his matches for sure, and it's making me question the product because it's making me think, who's going to pop up next? When this imaginary statute of limitations has worn out on certain wrestlers. Is it going to be fucking David Starr or Joey Ryan popping up next? Right.
I hate the fact that this company has a history of this, though. And look, I'm a firm believer in people getting second chances. But I don't know if we've made up for the first chance. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we've done...
This is not a guy who was arrested and sentenced and went to jail and carried out his punishment, and we're looking to rehabilitate them into society. Because I'm all in favour of that. If someone has done their time, give them a second chance. This is not what's happened with Marty Scurll. He caught out doing something that technically wasn't illegal. Yeah, he released a statement. But again, I'm not saying he should never work again, but I'm not okay with him being welcomed back with open arms to become, back to being a high-profile professional wrestler in one of the biggest companies in the world. There's other jobs that he could be doing.
Right.
So,
right. Where do you think this goes? Do you think the backlash will be harsh enough that they? Because again, he didn't sign a 2-year deal. It's not like he's locked in and that's that. Do you think this is just a one of the? Let's do this. Let's go this way. One. Do you think the backlash is big enough in that they don't air Strong? Like if they didn't air that episode of Strong, do you think anyone would give a shit?
I think if they pulled the plug on it, people would be pleased.
I think so too. I think that's the right thing to do. What do you think of that?
I agree. I think the way us as fans react to this over the next few days is going to be critical, I think. I don't want to inflate our own sense of importance, but if there is a sort of almost unified backlash to this and resistance to it, and who knows? I think it would be the smart thing to do to whoever's in charge to look at the way fans are reacting to this and think, you know what, this is not a good idea. Let's pump the brakes on it.
How about this? You want to pull back the curtain a little bit, Joel? You want to pull back a curtain a little bit? Again, not pumping our own self-importance, but I feel like our reactions are used a little bit by the company as a litmus test of how this went over. Right? I think I could say that, right, Joel? I think it's a safe statement. So yeah. Let's look. I'm not happy with it at all. In fact, I'm kind of pissed off at it. I think it's a fucking shit move. And another one in a long line of shit moves by this company. I don't think they should air that episode. I'm telling you flat out right now. I think they should do the right thing and not air that episode. And I hate to say it, but who would give a shit if they did, or they, they would do more harm.
I'm the only fucking idiot watching it,
Right. So Joel doesn't have anything to do on a fucking Friday night. Okay, great. Right.
And it was a post-match angle, I believe. So easily done. Just cut it out. Just end the show. Main event, finished. That's it. Yep. Nothing happened afterwards. Everyone just went home and had a nice rest.
Yep. And no, it would be the company, the show, and the company would be better off. So that's my suggestion. New Japan, don't air the show or edit that part out. Let's use our heads and let's try and stay away from that kind of stuff, shall we? Let's try to stay the fuck away from that stuff. I know it's a difficult thing to do. I know it's so hard to do the right thing. But how about we stay away from these fucking situations, shall we? Would that be okay? For fuck's sake. All right. How's that?
Well, the other lovely nugget of news this week was the news that Hiromu Takahashi has injured his pectoral muscle, is going to be out for 6 months, apparently. How big a blow do you think that is, Damon?
Massive, man. Massive. It's one, this poor guy can't catch a break. The minute I can't say the minute, but it really feels like when he's on top of the world, everyone's walking on eggshells because he's going to get hurt. And it's not his fault. I mean, people get hurt, but he has the worst fucking luck of any guy. And it hurts the company because, let's be honest, if he's not number one, he's 1A of people who's, keeping interest in the product. He's one of the, he was our wrestler of the year. You can't hand wave that. It's terrible news, which throws a monkey wrench in just about all their plans. I mean, the guy was tied in with not only the junior heavyweight title, but also the junior tag titles. He was kind of in the mix there, and he's the glue that keeps everything together. It's fucking that. I mean, aside from Ibushi, Naito, is there anybody else in that roster, if they got hurt and they were on the shelf for 6 months, would be as impactful? I don't think so.
Let me play devil's advocate here, because last week we predicted that Hiromu would lose the junior heavyweight title but win the junior tag titles. So in our own our own booking ideas, he was just going to be a junior tag champion. So if you look at it in that lens, then maybe 6 months, this is not the disaster that it might appear to be at first blush. So there are ways that you can make lemonade out of these lemons. And Louis asked, how soon can New Japan realise this is the absolute perfect time to catapult Despy and El Fantasma to the top of the junior division? Do they vacate the title, have those two feud around the belt while Hiromu's out, and then the winner taking him on for Undisputed or even a three-way? And Sean says thoughts on El Fantasma versus El Desperado versus Master Wato versus Show for the vacant IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Well, we do have a Junior Heavyweight title match announced for Castle Attack, which we'll go into our full... Maybe we should save that for later. But... fuck it, let's do it now. The junior title match is going to be a three-way. It's going to be El Fantasmo versus Bushi versus El Desperado. So that's what we've got on Sunday, which, to me, is a more interesting match than Hiromu versus ELP. I'm not going to lie. I like the look of that one, even though I'm not the biggest fan of three-way matches, but there's enough juice there to make me wonder, genuinely, who's going to come out with that one. So I think what they should do is have El Fantasmo sneak the win there. Maybe something like Despy hits the Pinche Loco on Bushi, and then ELP pulls Despy out of the ring and steals the pin and wins the championship. So that way, Desperado didn't get pinned. He still looks strong, and you see he came really, really close to winning the title. Then you have El Fantasmo as junior champion, give him a few defenses at Sakura Genesis, Dontaku, whatever, and have Despy chasing. Despy can win Best of the Super Juniors. Then Despy versus El Fantasmo at Dominion. Despy wins the belt after a longish chase, becomes junior heavyweight champion, and then he stays champion until Hiromu's back. Then bang, you have Despy versus Hiromu at Tokyo Dome for the junior heavyweight title. So I think there is enough of a silver lining here where you can try and make the best out of this situation and use this as the catalyst to finally launch El Desperado to the top of the division.
Yeah, I like the sound of that, actually. And it does sound like Bushi's in there to take a fall and still protect Despy from having to take the fall.
But, sorry, if I could interject there, Bushi did get that win, the singles win over Master Wato, so it's not like he has no claim to being in the mix at all. So it's been quite cleverly built up, I think.
Yeah. Here's the thing that they're able to do, and we talk about it consistently on this show, is they're able to, warm people up and keep people on a back burner and make sense, and it makes sense when they have to turn the fire up on them. But yeah, I mean, Bushi's there to take a fall in this match so that, we're protecting Despy. And the program that you laid out is really the blueprint of the way they should be going. I think even without Hiromu being on the shelf for 6 months, I think the destination that made the most sense would have been El Desperado and Hiromu at the Tokyo Dome, right? To me, that of all the juniors that we have, and again, if we're not bringing in anyone new, that seems to me like the match that people want. So now you have Despy on a chase, El Phantasmo doing what he does, eventually losing. Away we go, returning Hiromu, back from injury, Tokyo Dome. I like it. I can't believe we got another fucking Hiromu watch we got to do now.
Wait, let me throw this spicy take at you, Damon. Could you say that the division is more interesting now that Hiromu is out of the picture?
Here's what it does: is it gives people opportunities to step up that they may not have had before. People who have had spotlights on them get brighter spotlights, and people who had very limited, spotlights, they're able to shine. They're given more time to see what they can do. Does it make it more interesting? Again, it frees up space for the possibility of fresher matchups that maybe we wouldn't have had. Injuries do that in all sports. When you get a star that's injured and put on the shelf, you have players that now need to step up in roles that maybe...
Yes. Power vacuum. It's exciting.
What's that?
There's a power vacuum.
Yeah.
Which is always exciting.
Yeah. I mean, look. I'm under the impression that this roster is beyond talented. And they have the tools and the puzzle pieces. People can step up rather quickly. So, yeah. Well, here's the thing, Joe. We're going to find out. Because, and in situations when injuries occur like this, it's you have no choice, right? So this is the strength of the company and how it's built from a booking perspective of being able to warm people up, cool people off, warm people up, cool people off, and keep people at a temperature where it makes sense to say, okay, we need you now. Tap on the shoulder, go, and they're able to do that.
And the other piece of bad news during the week was Yuji Nagata going full Hiro Matsuda on Tetsuya Naito, rolling into his knee and injuring Naito's knee. So he missed I think he missed a couple of the Road 2 shows, but he wrestled on today's show, seemed to be fine, suffering no ill effects from what I could tell, and should be available to take on Ibushi for the IC title on Sunday. So fingers crossed that one not too serious.
Yeah, amazing what painkillers can do, can it? Shoot me up, boss. I hope so. Look, we all know everybody in that roster's got an injury, right? Everybody's hobbling. It's the severity of the injuries that if they can work or not. And he's going to work through it. He's going to wrap it up. He's going to pop a couple of ibuprofen, and we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens.
Just sticking with big picture stuff, Dave says, seriously, can this be salvaged? It's not just the injuries. There's no heat for anything except for Tenkoji versus Empire, which kicked us. Obviously, the answer is yes, of course it can, but I've had a couple of shots that I'll be going now. So, what do you think New Japan needs to do to inject some buzz into things? Now, full disclosure, I think this El Desperado thing has added a much-needed bit of dynamism and spice for me personally, for me to think, yeah, I'm excited to see these Castle Attack shows now. But Damon, do you think what's missing? What do you think they could do to get us back?
I think the biggest thing that I hear from people that seem to have lost their way with New Japan is a program up top that is captivating and is exciting, and I don't necessarily feel that right now. And again, this is no blame on either of these two guys. It's just I don't know what I'm supposed to get juiced up over is Ibushi and Naito, right? Like that up top, just seems dry as toast at this point, and the idea of challenging for a Intercontinental title just seems preposterous. You got Okada that's floundering around with Evil again. Tanahashi with the Never title is interesting, but I don't know if people get as excited over that as I am, right? And the possibilities thereof. And let's be honest, I don't think he's going to hold on to that title for very long. And then we have a lot of fresher faces that people aren't accustomed to that are getting prominent roles, and in roles that they're just not, settled in on. Whether that's Will Ospreay leading a faction, whether that's, and I got in an argument 2 weekends ago over Tai Chi, and I'm just like, you know what, you're dead wrong, you're missing the boat. But it's just these ideas of Tai Chi being the same Tai Chi he was 5 years ago. I was just like, you're not watching these shows, just sit and watch the fucking shows. And you would see that, but okay. I don't know. I mean, but for me, that's kind of like where I stand. Of nothing really seems important. That might be the biggest thing. Nothing feels important.
Yeah, hopefully, with New Japan Cup coming up, that can inject some new life into the main event scene in the division, because I agree, it does feel a bit stale. Sentient Amanita asks, I've missed every show and backstage promo so far. Was there anything on the entire Castle Attack tour with quality or novelty to justify going back to check it out? No, this doesn't count the Junior Tag title match. That hasn't happened as of me typing this. I would say no. You haven't missed anything from these Road 2 shows, apart from that Junior Tag match, which I'll get onto. But in lieu of watching the shows, I would say read the Voices of Wrestling reviews by Jay Michael. Honestly, reading his review of these shows was more entertaining than watching the actual shows. So go and do that. Jay Michael actually pointed out to me this morning, so as I was getting fatigued with these endless Korakuen shows, in March, we have 16 broadcast shows coming up.
16,
yeah. And I don't know why I'm punishing myself trying to watch all of them, because I don't think they're designed to be consumed en masse. I mean, they're house shows that happen to be televised. So I think as fans, maybe we need to be a bit more selective and pick and choose what we watch, because I watched all these Road 2 shows and a lot of them were the same. You're seeing the same match each time. Matches are fine, but it's the same. You're not missing anything by not watching the matches. So I think maybe for my own mental health, I'm going to not necessarily watch all 16 of those shows bell to bell. I'm
sorry, before you go on to the next question, Joe, I'm sorry. Can you play Joel the Booker for me for a moment? You're running New Japan Pro Wrestling. Can you tell me the benefits of running, just as you described, the same building, the same shows, the same, literally the same main events? Like where, like as a guy running a pro wrestling company, what's the benefit of that? Is it just I can't be creative 24/7 and I can't come up with fucking new shit all the time, so we'll just put on shows? Is that what we're doing?
I think it's got to be some sort of either financial or contractual thing that they have to generate a certain amount of content or run a certain number of Korakuen dates, or they need to run a certain number of shows to make a certain amount of revenue to break even. I don't know what it is, but it's ridiculous at this point. I remember like last year when we would see these stretches, we've got 3 Korakuen shows coming up, maybe they're going to do something special, maybe there'll be a tournament or something, and nope, it's just Road 2 shows, dry as fucking toast. The bigger question for me, Damon, is who are these lunatics that are buying tickets for them all?
Right.
We love New Japan. If we lived in Tokyo, we wouldn't be going to these shows. And we do a fucking podcast.
Right. There's no fucking way. I had to put on pants and go to the show? No, what? Are you kidding me? That's what's the person sitting at home doing? They're like, all right, I got this show on Tuesday, and I got this show on Wednesday, and this show on Thursday. Okay, well, I got dinner with the parents on Tuesday. Thank God I'll see the exact same show on Thursday. All right, I'll go Thursday. Is that like the thought process? Like what? I don't understand it. I don't understand. Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. And what you said, that they got to be contractually obligated to put on these shows, because there's that last show that I watched, the one with Sonata and Honma, and you could have heard a fucking mouse fart at Korakuen Hall. Like it was. They not only did they seem quiet, everyone in that building sounded completely bored out of their skull. like you actually audibly heard boredom. It was fucking amazingly awful.
Well, Luis asks, is it me or is there no hype for Castle Attack? Feels like the Road 2 shows were all right. Plus, we got 2 top wrestlers who are injured, not looking good for Castle Attack first show. So, yeah, it's...
People in the company aren't looking for the Castle Attack.
Well, okay, Bevler says, how excited were you when Sonata versus Honma in a singles match was announced? So, I mean, if we're looking at this Road 2 show, well, the Road 2 shows that were this week, there was one on the 22nd, and there was one today. The most notable things were the fact that on the show on the 22nd, Okada ate a pinfall on a Road 2 show, which hasn't happened for a long time. So Chris Amsa came up with the fact the last time Okada was pinned in a Road 2 show was April 22nd, 2017. So nearly 4 years ago.
It's Fale, right?
Yeah, Fale and Omega versus Okada and Ishii.
How about that?
At Korakuen, where Fale pinned Okada after a devastating tombstone set up their Wrestling Dontaku main event. So that was Okada's 9th defense of his big reign. So it had been 1,403 days between Road 2 pinfalls for Okada. So I thought that was interesting. What about the Honma Sonata match? Because I actually quite enjoyed it. It wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be. There is something, I don't know, very absorbing about watching Honma, particularly in singles matches. I don't know if it's because I'm waiting for something bad to go wrong, or just the way he moves and wrestles. It's like a corpse that's been reanimated with some sort of necromancy, like some sort of evil magician puppeteer is using his powers to make this corpse wrestle in the middle of the ring. But what did you think of the Honma Sonata match?
I thought it was Honma and Sonata. I take that back. Well, no, I don't take that back. I felt like it was very, like if I mapped that out in my head, it kind of, this is what I was looking for. Which, truth be told, turned out to be not that bad. Like it wasn't a horrible match. It was just a match. I do like the fact that like Korakuen loves the underdog, so they were rooting for home just about the entire time. Again, the match, Sonata is so physically gifted that he can make the match watchable and do most of the heavy lifting. But yeah, I mean, no, I don't think, I think when the match was announced, you could hear the collective groan, but I thought the match was the best match of the show. I'll tell you what though, not to switch gears on you. How significant is that? You mentioned you threw down the days since it last occurred in any fucking meaningless tag that Okada has been in. He's not the guy taking the fall. He took a fall. And don't you think it's kind of amazing, Joel? Me, the alcoholic, right, who has more brain cells dead than I do alive at this point. Had the wherewithal to remember it was Fale. Significant, right? It was important. Do you honestly think, and again, a significant event, like a significant like Okada taking a pinfall in a tag match, where a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that would have been our open, probably, right? We probably would have opened with that. It's like, yeah. Like, it's just, again, it goes back to nothing feels important. That moment is an important, let me take that back. It should have been an important moment a big-time moment. And we talk about it like it's a big-time moment. There's no one talking about this. No one. Nothing feels important.
Yeah, it's certainly not making me thrilled to see Okada and Evil in the main event on Saturday.
No.
So, yeah, it was something that should have been a lot more impactful than it was, because it was just a dead show overall. And, I mean, the same would have been said about today's show, were it not for what I thought was a really fantastic main event with the junior tag team titles on the line. Let me actually pull up the proper results so I can get this correct.
All right.
So it was the fifth match, junior heavyweight tag team championship match with Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado defeating the champions of Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo in 20 minutes and 12 seconds. El Desperado pinning Taiji Ishimori after Pinche Loco. So we have new junior heavyweight tag team champions, and I really, really enjoyed this match. It was exactly what I needed to get me out of my funk, my New Japan depression, because it was just all about Despy. Like, he was front and center of this match. It was like a showcase for him and his talents. It was almost felt like a handicap match with Kanemaru popping up right at the end, the decisive moment to pay off the loaded boot story, him diverting the loaded boot into Ishimori's face. And I can't say enough good things about Desperado. He's got that chaotic babyface energy that it sounds like on paper similar to Hiromu, but there's a big difference to it. He's just got a different aura about him. I've written pages and pages about this for the New Japan yearbook. You go and read that if you want in-depth analysis about the way these two characters play off against each other. But he, in this match, had really good chemistry with Ishimori. Despy, he works the crowd really well. The Tokyo fans seem to love him. He can be that babyface in peril without compromising his character, because he's still it's a shitbag at the end of the day, but a lovable shitbag. And I also want to give some love to El Phantasmo and Ishimori, who were really, I think they're a really good junior tag team when they are not doing their full bullshit here. Because I thought in the previous match, I enjoyed it for the shenanigans, but this match was very, very different. It was more centered around the wrestling. It was a cleaner match, and I thought the balance between the heel shtick and the tag synergy between them and the quality wrestling was spot on. So if you haven't seen today's main event, I would strongly recommend you go out of your way. And what I think was a star-making performance, a proof of concept for giving El Desperado that push and making him a top guy in the division. So big thumbs up from me for that main event.
Is he your favorite guy right now?
You know what? I think he is.
Yeah.
Now that you've just thrown that, I mean, I hadn't thought about it before, but yes, I think since his run in the Best of the Super Juniors from that final onwards, yeah, he is the guy that I most look forward to seeing.
That's cool. I mean, that's what the company wants. You know what I mean? To be able to create people like that. So yeah, I mean, he's up there. He's probably right now in my top 5. Right? Probably my top 5 people that I look forward to watching. So, yep. All right. Good job. More good stuff from El Desperado. We're in on this.
All right. Well, let's preview Castle Attack then. So we have the first show coming up this Saturday, February 27th at Osaka-jo Hall. Got opening match with Kojima, Tenzan, Tanahashi versus Cobb, Ospreay, and Okan. Do you see anything big happening here? The next night we got Kojima and Tenzan against Cobb and Ospreay. Do you think they might be building up to a Tenzan retirement?
That's what everybody kind of thought we were headed for, right? With the idea of him not being able to do the Mongolian chops. I mean, you took away the guy's lone offensive move. I mean, but you can work that into story. I mean, that's it. And he has. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he work some? I want to say it was All Japan. I could be wrong, but he worked somewhere. Tenzan, I'm talking about recently, not New Japan, and he was like not doing like he was going to do the chops, but like he was told not. It was just kind of weird how he still continued to do that outside of the box. No, I mean, he's eventually going to retire, and I would think if it's not this year, it's got to be next year. So, yeah, I mean, I think this plays into that storyline. But I think that's been the course of action the entire year for Tenzan.
Our second match is a special singles match with Yoshihashi versus Tanga Loa, two of my most improved wrestlers of 2020. Not something I thought on paper I would be looking forward to 365 days ago, but here we are. I'm really excited for Yoshihashi versus Tanga Loa. I think this is going to be the acid test for Tanga Loa to show what he can do as a singles wrestler, because he's been really impressing me in his tag stuff. I think he's by far and away the most enjoyable part of Guerrillas of Destiny, and his improvements, his striking, his intensity, his power has been one of the big reasons why I've found Guerrillas of Destiny a lot more enjoyable to watch lately. So, I mean, obviously this is setting up the tag title match that they're going to have the following day. Do you see? Yeah, how do you see this one playing out?
I'm excited to see it, and maybe we need to get Chris Sampson on the hotline or something. But I'm curious as to see when was the last Tanga Loa singles match.
I think I know that one. I think it was New Japan Cup 2017 against Yuji Nagata, and it was not good.
Yeah, I mean that's a considerable time, right? So so I'm gonna play. What's the opposite of devil's advocate? I'm gonna play positive.
Angel's advocate.
right. Angel's advocate. I don't know what it is. There's got to be an opposite, right? I'm opposite them. I'm excited for it because here's what I think. 2017, you're a pro wrestler. Tags. You mean to tell me he doesn't sit around at times, not all the time, but at times thinking, okay, if I was in the ring, I would do this. Okay, I want to be cool if I fucking did this and then that. And then, just in his mind, he's doing that. And then maybe he bounces something off somebody, be like, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if that, this, that? Yeah. If I'm in the ring, I would." Okay, we have a lot of time to come up with ideas. Let's put it that way. Now, ideas are great. Doing them, having the physical abilities to be able to pull them off, and the ring skills to be able to pull them off, different story, right? Well, now we have a time to shine. Now we have a time to go. Now, here's where the fucking rubber hits the road. You're getting a tap on the shoulder. This is your tap on the shoulder. Now, you're not in a main event. You're not in a fucking, but this is a singles match that I'm sure there are going to be people peeking through the curtain backstage, right? As pro wrestlers love to do, to check out matches or huddled around a monitor or whatever the fuck you want to say. Taking a peek, seeing how this goes. Because if it's good, I think we'll see more of it, right? If it falls apart and it's shit, what do we do from there? Do we just keep going? Do we keep moving forward? We close our eyes, we push forward. New Japan likes to do that. Okay. But I think this is a big time flag in the sand moment for this guy's career. Here's my only concern. And again, if we're going to agree that he might have a little butterflies in his stomach, he might have, 2017 is a long time ago. It's not like he's in the ring with Hiroshi Tanahashi. It's not like he's in the ring with Okada, Naito. Again, guys who can help carry along the process. He's in there with fucking Yoshihashi. Now, most improved? Absolutely. Tag team situations? Chef's kiss, right? Singles match, Yoshihashi. Again, are we comfortable with singles match Yoshihashi being the guy to kind of be the ring general in this one? Are we okay with that?
I thought Yoshihashi had a really good G1. Looking at the blueprint for the match he had with Evil during the G1, which I thought was great. I love that. So if they follow a similar layout, I basically want to see Tanga Loa beating the shit out of him for 10 minutes and then an exciting closing stretch. I don't even care who wins, to be honest.
Yeah, Yeah, either one could use the win. Right? I would have no problem with that. I mean, I'm assuming we're looking at Tangaloa, right? I mean, if we're trying to give him a singles run, I don't know. That's my only concern is that it's not like it's a top flight guy who you are totally comfortable with being the ring general and kind of mapping everything out. Like again, I'm more bullish on Yoshihashi than I ever have been in my entire life. Still, I do have reservations on, okay, is this the right guy for me in this situation?
And then the third match will be another special singles match with Hiroki Goto and Tama Tonga. So the other half of their respective tag teams as an appetizer for the following day's tag title match. This one I'm less enthused about. I don't know. I don't really have a great deal to say about Goto versus Tama Tonga. I'm not holding my breath for any sort of classic here.
I mean, there's a perfect example of a guy of what are we doing with Hiroki Goto? Like, I feel like the dude could still absolutely go, but like he's so like I sat here and I praised New Japan's booking, but is there anyone who has suffered more from New Japan Pro Wrestling's booking than Hiroki Goto?
Yeah, I mean, there were plenty of people who would have preferred to see him in an elevated spot over, guys like Evil or El Phantasmo or whatever. I
mean, that's okay. You could say that. You put him in that elevated role. Is anyone going to give a fuck? Like, what was?
It wouldn't achieve anything,
right,
in the long term, would it?
Right.
It's not elevating anyone. Like, yeah, we know he can go, but the ship is selling on him at this point. He's a mid-carder.
Yeah,
he's a gatekeeper.
Right. I don't think there's the only possible thing you do for Hiroki Goto is give him the fucking world title. Like, what else do you do? Maybe.
You know what? I think he's happy with his spot. He's a great dad, from what I can tell on social media. Maybe he's just happy where he is in the company. Not having to break his back every week and be required to do hard-hitting main events all the time. Cycled up and down occasionally, and he's perfectly satisfied being a mid-carder.
All right. Okay. I mean, you're probably right. It hurts. You know what it does? It kind of hurts to hear it. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you are spot on, and we want more than maybe he even wants. Right? Maybe.
Fourth match is the Provisional KOPW 2021 Yano Toru style Texas strap match between Yano, the KOPW 2021 holder, and Chase Owens. What's the over-under on the ha-has? How many times do you think this is going to make you chuckle, Damon?
Me? 0. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, like serious laugh or get the fuck out of here laugh, right? Because there's a difference. I'm a miserable motherfucker. Don't use me as the litmus. I'm going to set the legit ha-has. 1. Will Joel Abraham have more than one legitimate laugh? Not get the fuck off my screen laugh, and not why am I wasting a fucking beautiful sunny afternoon when I could be sitting with my child or getting delicious dim sum or whatever the fuck. I'm watching this. Not that kind of laugh. An actual belly laugh. 1. Over or under?
I would take that. I would settle for one proper laugh and somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. If it goes over 10, then I'm going to start getting upset.
So again, correct me if I'm wrong. This is a strap match. They'll be tied together at the wrists, right, with a leather strap. And the object of this is you have to take off the turnbuckles on each corner. Correct?
Correct. And I believe the wrestler who removes the last turnbuckle is the winner.
Right. So there'll be 3 down. They could get cut off. Brawl. Something happens. the guy who was getting his ass beat previous can just go take off the last one and wins the match. Is that correct?
I think so, because otherwise they're going to have someone keep tying them back on. I mean, maybe they will do that. I don't care. I think we're putting too much thought into it, to be honest, Damon. Who do you think wins?
That's what I don't give a shit. I give more shit about the turnbuckles. How are we operating this than who actually wins the match? Give it to Chase. You know, speaking of problems, give it to Chase.
Yeah, I'm sure all the fans.
You know the way this company's
really
going.
Happy about that.
Yeah, right. The way the company's going, give it to Chase.
Oh, jeez. Okay, fifth match, special singles match: Tomohiro Ishii versus Jay White. Your thoughts on this one?
Should be good, right? Should be. Like on paper, that sounds really fucking good. You got Jay White wanting a little bit of revenge. You got Ishii wanting a little bit of revenge for all the heinous attacks from Jay White. And it's Ishii, who, let's be truthful, have we seen a ton of singles Ishii to get excited over so far this year? Certainly not. So, yep, I think they're put in a spot to deliver, and I think they will. I think they absolutely will. I'm looking forward to this one.
It's an interesting spot for it. Why do you think this has been penciled in as the singles match? Do you think it's just giving both guys something to do, or do you think there's going to be something in the pipelines for the winner?
Oh, I think it's definitely something in the pipeline for the winner, right? Don't you think? I mean,
Yes.
let's put it this way. This is a Jay White win, right?
I would have thought so, yeah. With New Japan Cup around the corner, I don't know, because we've got the anniversary event as well. We got Okada versus Evil in the main event, and you think the winner of that is going to have something to do. So, yeah, I'm curious as to what is in store for both the winner of this and the winner of Okada versus Evil, because I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. There's nothing obvious there, is there?
Oh, I mean,
maybe challenge the winner, whoever the Intercontinental Champion is, at the end of night 2.
Right. So, yeah. I think one of those two absolutely is, right? Has to. And then the other one's heavyweight, right? Like something like that has to happen, which kind of tips the cards of where I think, who's winning Ibushi and Naito. But okay, but I think in both cases you're looking at guys challenging for titles.
And then main event, special singles match: Okada versus Evil. The last time they main evented at Osaka-jo Hall in the New Japan Cup final last July, it was pretty poor.
Yep,
I think
no one
was thinking that was any kind of match of the year classic. Do you think they have a better match in them this time?
I don't think they can have much worse. Look, I don't want Okada to be Mr. Tokyo Dome, right? I kind of need him. Here's what we need. We need the idea that when we're 2 hours into a show, and we're even more, and we're at main event time, that we have confidence that when we turn off this show, we're not looking at the fucking mirror thinking, well, that was a waste of time. And I think that's where people are lost confidence somewhere along the way with this company. I'm gonna flat out tell you that we need a banger, as the kids like to say. Like, we need this match to be fucking really, really good. We do. We need it. Are we going to get that, Joel? I'm not confident. Let me ask you, does this match go 35 minutes?
Christ, I hope not. This is a match that desperately needs to be 20 minutes, high intensity, high pace, hard hitting.
Yeah.
Because if this is a 35-minute, getting the bingo card out, ticking off your spots, both guys sleepwalking through it, then I will
money
be
clipping
ready
it.
to
A lot
wash my
of
hands
money
of
clip.
both of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Money clips, Dick Togo fuckery.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get out the tweet and can go through all the spots, but yeah, if it's anything like that, then honestly, that's what I'm expecting. I'll be pleasantly surprised if it isn't, and that is 50-50 on both of these guys. I mean, to be fair, actually, I thought Evil's Wrestle Kingdom match against Sonata was quite fun. So if it's more like that and less like the previous match that these two guys had, then it will be all the better for that. But I would not put any amount of money on being confident that this is a good match.
If they put that match before Jay White and Ishii, I would be more confident that we would have that type of match. But the fact that it's the last match, it's going to go long. Let me take that back. It's going to go longer than it should. Right? Yeah,
it's like this unwritten rule now that every New Japan main event has to go 35 minutes, which is a real misstep. Some matches deserve it. I'm not saying all matches should be less than that, but only in the spots where it warrants it. And I don't think this is a match that needs to be 35 minutes long.
And here's the thing. You have a crowd tailor-made that will give you everything they have when it comes to excitement, crowd, noise, etc. And you're going to hear Okada for the third time in a match go for that fucking money clip. And you're going to hear a crowd die. You're gonna hear the
as
air.
If you were applying the money clip to each fan in the building, choking the life out of us all.
Yes. So, I mean, what? Look, we hope for the best, but here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that we're going to come back here next week and we're going to say, hey, everything that I talked about of what people kind of are looking for with it didn't happen. They did the same exact thing that people are. Look, Joel, you have a better sense of the temperature than I do when it comes to online, when it comes to fan. I kind of have my own little bubble. But that little bubble is a dedicated bubble of pro wrestling. And when they're shitting on it and they're like, I haven't watched, I'm not watching, I got better things to do. Okay. There's no buzz for this show, right?
Correct. I mean, this feud specifically, no one gives a shit. It's ice cold.
Ice cold. Ice cold. The best thing they can do is, and I don't know if this is injuries, and I don't know if this is a conscious decision on whomever's part. I think Okada's a big problem in this. The fact that there's been such a considerable drop-off in the amount of quality performances from him. Like, these are good performances, don't get me wrong, but these are not Okada performances.
And like, you can still do it. Like, the Ospreay match at Wrestle Kingdom was great.
Yes.
That was a great match. Yeah. But I need to see that version of Okada more than once a year, please.
Right. The consistency of look, I know that was a golden era of pro wrestling that we just went through. And I'm going to say it right now. We're out of that golden era. We're that's ended. Right? That was a golden era where you turned on a New Japan Pro Wrestling show and you knew you were going to get fucking gold. And it didn't matter what fucking show it was. You were going to get gold. And I think people's confidence in getting gold is non-existent at this point. And I can't say non-existent, but it's low. And you just don't know what you're going to fucking wind up with. And I think that's an important thing for people watching this product. I know people love to bust on it and be like, oh, you work rate snubs and you fucking notebooks and all that. Blah, 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 blah. That's not pro wrestling. New Japan's always been. Okay. But this is why people are leaving in droves. And I know it. I mean, just our numbers alone, probably. I mean, I don't know. I don't get numbers, but I'm just assuming. And you just feel it. You just feel the. It's not there. This is the reason.
Right. Any thoughts on the winner, or I don't care who wins, to be honest.
I think Okada wins, right? Okada wins.
Yeah, why not? Okay, well, let's move on to night 2, which is a lot more tasty, except I've just closed the tabs.
Oh, no.
This will be Castle Attack Night 2, February 28th, again at Osaka-jo Hall. We're opening with Tenkoji, Kojima and Tenzan versus Jeff Cobb and Will Ospreay. I'm expecting a win for Cobb and Ospreay there, maybe leading to some sort of retirement thing, but yeah, we've discussed that already. Second match, Yano Ishii, Okada versus Chase, Jay White and Evil. Again, hand waving that one. Third match, now we're getting interesting, IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match with the champions, Gorillas of Destiny, defending against the challengers, Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto. So there, I think there's enough reasonable doubt here about the outcome, because I just keep waiting for Gorillas of Destiny to drop the title so they go back to the States. I think they've got a lot of interesting stuff they could be doing stateside. Do you think this is the point at which they do it? Is it going to be Yoshihashi and Goto to pick up the baton and run with it as heavyweight tag champions?
Let's fucking do it, right? I don't think anybody's been disappointed in Yoshihashi in a tag scenario.
So double champion, double tag championship, double tag champion Yoshihashi. We want it.
Yeah, we do. I think we do. I think we do. Why not? Let's fucking do it. We can assume if we assume Tangaloa's going to do a little single stuff, right? We could break up the team. Just not break up the team, but just put it on pause for a second. People can go home, see their families.
Gives Goto something to do.
Gives Goto something to do. We got the visual of fucking Yoshihashi carrying 2 straps. Fuck it. Do it. Change them. Swap it out. I think it happens.
Yeah, I think it would be a good match as well. From the Yoshihashi and Goto, I thought they had a really good World Tag League. The last time they challenged for the belt against Dangerous Tekkers, it was really good. So I think there's enough ingredients here. I'm not expecting anything spectacular, but 15 minutes, hard-hitting Goto, Tangaloa, whacking people really hard. I think it should be some good stuff here. So I'm looking forward to that one. Fourth match, never openweight championship match. Hiroshi Tanahashi defending his championship against Great Okan. So do you, like me, expect Okan to get his win back here from Wrestle Kingdom and have not that the first match was bad, but a better match this time around?
I think so. I think this is also a title change. What do you think of that?
Yes, I wouldn't see the logic behind Okan losing twice to Tanahashi in such quick succession. I think we do have a new champion here.
Yeah. How about that? Think of that. It's pretty impressive. I mean, I think we all kind of saw the handwriting on the wall here, but if it doesn't happen, I think I would be. I'll tell you what. Only because I feel like it's written in stone that this is happening. Man, I would love to see a fucking high flow and fucking Tanahashi getting a 3 count. I would pop out of my chair on that one. My head says Okan. My heart says Tanahashi.
Just want to stick with Okan for a minute here. A couple of questions. Dan says, I know faction talk is absolutely toilet, but can we talk about the structure of the Empire, please? That cretin Ospreay looked like he was going to be the leader when it all kicked off, but since then, Okan has looked like the figurehead. And the real leader, and Cobb has always had Ospreay's number in matches. Okan looks a much better leader, in my opinion. And Ark says, what do you guys think of the recent NJPW 1972 article that ponders if Great Okan is the wrestler of Generation Z? And I will read an excerpt from that. So this is an article on the website by Daizo Nonaka. And this is really interesting stuff. So, Great Okan is good at social media. In fact, I'd say that's an understatement, from calling his fans his subjects, the people who hate him peasants, down to the royal wheeze, and talking about conquering and subjugation. He's created a world for himself and draws followers in. He calls New Japan World the United Empire's government-sanctioned broadcast. His merchandise, proof of loyalty to the Empire, tickets, admission to public execution. So he shares fan art and engages with people incredibly well. This is just all little signs that Great Okan thinks about every little facet of his persona as a pro wrestler, not just when he's in the ring with his mannerisms and his moves and the way he interacts with the crowd, which I think, I've spoken at length about how brilliant I think he does, but the outside of the stuff ring as well, the promos that he cuts, the way he conducts himself, his written interviews as well, and the way he engages with people on social media. This is a guy who, I've said it before, he just gets it. He gets being a pro wrestler. He ticks all those boxes, and so I'm hoping that this is the match where finally everything comes together and all the naysayers will admit that they were wrong and that Great-O-Khan is the future of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
And you forgot about the big booby art.
Yes. How could I forget that?
Right. I mean, that's number one. Yeah. I was a doubter. Let it be known. Because when I first saw him rolling into Rev Pro with that gimmick, trust me, you know me. I was like, what the fuck am I looking at here? And I didn't get it. And I don't think he got it either. Then he grew into it. And he's growing into it. Yeah. Yeah, to me, he's like, I told you, I like, of the Empire, the pecking order for me is O-Khan, Cobb, Ospreay. Like, I don't think Ospreay is even a good fit in his own faction. You know what I mean? Like, I just like of all the people that I don't feel it from, like I don't feel it from him most. That's not taking away anything of his in-ring ability. Like, I just don't think he's found his groove yet. Like,
agreed.
You know what I mean?
He doesn't know
like,
what his character is. He doesn't know what his character's motivations are. He doesn't know what the gimmick is, and he needs time to work that out before he's going to be slotted in at the top of cards.
Right. I 1,000% agree with that. And I think that will come. But I don't know if he's found that groove yet. I don't think he's found that groove yet. O-Khan is just the opposite. Like, in ring, O-Khan, let's be honest. Is he great?
No, he's good but not great. But he is a guy, he's one of the few guys in the company where from the second his match starts, like when his entrance starts and the music starts playing, I am there, I'm putting my phone down, I'm watching it, I love the music, I love the entrance, the way he conducts himself, and from when the match finishes, all the post-match stuff, his cutting the promos without the microphone, his backstage promos, just all of that, from not from bell to bell, but from the moment he steps out from behind that curtain to the moment he walks backstage after cutting his promo, I am enraptured by it. I think he's so good at that. Just the whole package.
He's giving exactly what I was going to say. He's giving you the entire complete package. Yep, I agree. And again, he has strengths and weaknesses. Let's not, he's it's not fucking Hiroshi Tanahashi in there. But again, for what he is, like listen, he is a perfect example of a guy who's making the most out of what he's been given so far. And if you do, again, not to fucking kick a guy when he's down, but you look at like a Master Wato and what he's been able to do compared to what O-Khan has been able to do. It feels like it's night and day. It feels like it's just a night and day scenario. So, yeah. To me, Empire is O-Khan, Cobb, Ospreay, and I think eventually Ospreay will move up in that pecking order, but not right now. Not right now.
Fifth match is for the vacant IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, where we'll have a three-way match between El Phantasmo, Bushi, and El Desperado. So I already laid out earlier on in the show how I think this one should go. What do you think, Damon? Why do you think they've made it three-way? How do you think it plays out?
Yeah, again, I think it's Bushi needs to be the guy lying down, of course, to protect Despy. El Phantasmo will get a shithousery-based win. Gets the title. Hiromu's on the shelf. Despy Chase eventually wins, and it sets up a program, gives Hiromu enough time to get back in the ring. We're all on Hiromu watch. And boom, away we go. The next thing you know, January 4th, and we're still sitting in our fucking living rooms. and no one's in Tokyo. And actually, I think. Do you think people will be there this year? I know you don't have to go with the great lengths, but yes or no? Will Japan allow tourists into the country to witness Wrestle Kingdom live?
It's just for the sake of my own sanity and my own hopes about getting back to my Johnny Child, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to be an optimist and say why not, and we'll all be there. I'll be there with Esther. She'll be dressed up like El Desperado. We'll all be having a lovely time.
Oh my goodness, that would be so adorable. Oh my lord, I don't think my heart would be able to take it. All right, yeah, positive vibes, everyone. Positive vibes. That's what we're all about.
Main event is IWGP Intercontinental Championship match with Kota Ibushi with his third defense against Tetsuya Naito. Again, a match that I don't feel has any buzz or hype or heat to it. It's going to be a great match. I mean, it always is between these two, but it's a match we've seen plenty of in recent history. It's like, I love tonkotsu ramen, but after I've had a bowl of tonkotsu ramen, I don't want to eat tonkotsu ramen for a good few weeks because it's very delicious and rich and hearty, but it's a lot. I need something different after that. So I'm stretching this metaphor to breaking point, Damon. This analogy. How are you feeling about Ibushi versus Naito?
I don't know what they do. Like, what do they do to make it different? What do they do to? I mean, and these two are pros, and if we're looking for creativity and finding a way to make this a little special. I mean, I trust these guys to be able to do it, but how many times have we seen these two in a ring in the past 3 years?
Weird to go back to it so soon, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and we're fighting over the Intercontinental title. It's preposterous. Okay, look, you're right. It should be great on paper. I cannot, and the company, truth be told, I don't know. They've done a really piss poor job of getting anybody excited over it. Right? Feels like we're just kind of marching into this fucking match, just like, okay, we're having a match. Like, I don't feel a buzz. I don't feel an excitement out there. Right? Do you?
No. The Naito Ibushi dynamics, like, they have great in-ring chemistry, but in terms of the chemistry of the two characters and sort of promos and when they're doing face-offs and stuff, it just feels like sort of two colleagues. There's a kind of sort of cordial atmosphere between them, and there's a mutual respect, but there's no animosity, there's no heat, there's no real sense of a kind of rivalry you can sink your teeth into.
Right. Why am I here to care? You know what I mean? What? Give me something that I need that I care about. What's a fan going into this like? Okay, Naito's challenging for the title. Oh, the heavyweight title? No. The secondary title. Oh, they have a secondary title? Yeah, it was merged. So it hasn't been defended in over? No, it hasn't. No. Okay. That's it? Yeah, that's it. That's it, huh? They didn't. No attacks. No. They're fighting over a secondary title. Okay, thanks. Okay. Unbelievable. I'm watching. By the way, as I'm talking, I'm watching. I'm in my office and I can see a person walk. Oh, okay. Now I see a little bit more. Let me paint the entire picture if I could. I'm looking out my window, Joel. There is a older gentleman walking down the street, and it looked like he was solo. Just walking down our street. And today is trash collection day. And in each recycling bucket, this person was looking in each and every recycling bucket that's on the street. So the house across the street, house catty corner, our own. But then just as I was about to mention it, I see that the dog, not on a leash, shall I say, not on a leash, is with the gentleman. So just thought I'd bring that story to light.
A more compelling and interesting story than Naito versus Ibushi in our main event of Castle Attack.
Yes.
Who do you think wins the IC title?
Naito. I think Naito wins. Right?
Yeah.
We're splitting the titles here, right?
Yeah,
and then
hope so.
Other people will have programs throughout the year.
Okay, let's move on to Strong then. So we had the...
What?
Yeah. Before I abandon it completely. The New Beginning USA part one, I guess, where we had opening match Adrian Quest, Mysterioso, and Rocky Romero defeating the team of Barrett Brown, Ray Horace, and the DKC. This was good. All strong matches are good. It was like a fun lucha flavored trios open. It's always good to have a trios match. And, lots of high-flying stuff here. Good to see a bit of a spotlight on Barrett Brown, who we haven't seen much of so far, and he cut a very passionate promo backstage where he was pointing to the New Japan Collection app, saying, this right here, this symbol is what I want to be a part of. Pointing to the wrong one, mate, but maybe he just really wants to get a card on the app. Who knows? Second match was Fred Rosser defeating Hikuleo in 10 minutes 40 seconds via backslide. I watched this match in double speed, but it still felt like it was in slow motion. It was very ponderous. Rosser stole the win there with a backslide. They tried to keep Hikuleo strong, and he attacked some ringside staff afterwards, but this was lacking a bit of juice and intensity for me. I'd want to see them going a bit harder at it. It just felt like a bit of a soft match, really. And then main event was really good. It was a rematch between El Phantasmo and Lio Rush. ELP wins again in 40 minutes 5 seconds with sudden death. I think this was one of the better ELP singles matches since its comeback. I thought the balance between the shtick and the wrestling, just like it was at Korakuen tonight, actually, it was on point here. I thought Leo made for a really great underdog babyface, and they came up with some very creative spots down the stretch. And I want to see more Lio Rush, please. If we can get him in Japan somehow for Best of the Super Juniors, then I think that will mitigate a lot of the Hiromu disappointment. I mean, imagine El Desperado versus Lio Rush, Best of the Super Juniors final. That would be really fun, exciting match, very fresh for me. So if we can make it happen, please, let's get Lio Rush into Japan. And we have also a big show coming up on Strong. So this will be tomorrow, Friday, February 26th. First match will be DKC, Kevin Knight, Clark Connors, TJP against Logan Regal, Sterling Regal, ACH, and Brody King. Second match, this is an interesting one. Ren Narita versus Chris Dickinson. You're very interested to see who wins that one. Probably should be Chris Dickinson, but again, I'm very interested to see Ren Narita in singles action, see how he's progressing. Now he's no longer a young lion. Again, I'm looking for more sort of signature touches, a bit of individualism. I don't know which one of those nouns is correct, but I want to see him showing who is Ren Narita, not just copy paste Black Trunks guy. And then our third match, 60-minute time limit, IWGP US Heavyweight Championship match. Jon Moxley defending finally against the challenger Kenta. I think a lot of people are expecting Kenta to win, and this whole thing being pushed through to get the US title off of Jon Moxley. But the more interesting move here would be Mox keeping the title. Am I wrong?
Oh, that would definitely be something to talk about, right? I mean, that would keep us in business. But yeah, I think let's put it this way: the easy money is on moving the title. I mean, that's what we're all assuming this is all about. The whole thing is about. But again, with a lot of the past month or so of people winding up on shows that they're not supposed to be here, does raise an eyebrow or two, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can't see this one being like 15-minute clean finish, title change kind of deal. I will be shocked if that happens, and I think it'll be a waste, to be honest.
Give me your percent. Give me a scale of 1 to 10. Do you think that this match is going to be used as a catalyst for further exploring of passageways being entered? And I don't mean butts. Thank you very much.
I would be disappointed if it doesn't.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 7 out of 10 that there is some kind of angle either in the match or at the end of the match that keeps this thing burning. Because I think to just blow it off in an empty arena, strong taping would be a bit sad.
Okay. I think so too. But the safe thing is we're getting the title off Mox, and then Mox can always come back. But we're going to close that chapter here and now so that we can finally get this title back in our company, and have it be shown So I'm going to go the safe route and say that's where this is leading to, and where this is ending for now.
All right. Well, that is New Japan Strong. So let's go to some questions then. On the Discord, Mitch says, which of the New Japan dads will shave their head this year and win the heavyweight title to keep up the trend of bald old men winning belts? For all the stick that New Japan gets, at least, I don't want to say at least, but there is always the aim there of establishing new stars, even if it's not the guys that you wanted to see being pushed as the stars, but there's always an eye on the future, isn't there? So getting guys like Evil or El Fantasma over, they're not a sentimental company. They don't book the old favourites, for the sake of popping a number, or I'll let the dad have the gold watch win. Those days are gone, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, 9 times out of 10, the old guys are usually the guys lying down, right? Yeah, they're logical in that sense. So yeah, and again, we always talk about how they constantly have that stockpile of available talent to become stars. The worst thing they could have done, and I know people might not agree with this, but the worst thing they could have done in the past 3 years was stay the same and not plan for the future and keep the same guys on top, because hey, 3 years ago, we were fucking rocking and rolling, right? We had great matches and we had all of it. And that's not to say that anybody expected to not have great matches. The point I'm trying to make is that they could foresee that we need to make stars, and we need to make stars when it's uncomfortable to make stars, because I got to look 2, 3, 4 years down the road.
Face Collector says, any thoughts on Shibata's era so far at the helm of the LA Dojo? Any trademarks we're seeing? Is a star becoming apparent technically or even booking wise? So, Damon, when you see guys like Clark Connors, Kevin Knight, maybe even the DKC at this point, do you see anything where you think, no, that's different to what we see from the Noge New Japan young lions? It does seem that the young lions from the LA Dojo get to show a little bit more individual flair. They're able to show off more unique moves than their Japanese counterparts.
Correct, and I think Strong gives them the ability to do that. So it is different. And the one thing about the pandemic that, I mean, if there's a positive to be said about a company that can't bring in their own talent, is that, okay, they have an opportunity to do a little bit more. I don't know if I've necessarily have seen a difference in training styles or difference in like one shining over the other. I just think that the LA Dojo has a little bit more opportunity to show things than, say, the Japanese talent that's in Japan on opening shows. So I just think it's hard to evaluate too, in the sense of it can't possibly be a fair comparison. Even the previous years, I mean, it's really tough. I don't know. It's kind of, excursions, the idea of people studying abroad. We've taken a year, maybe even more, off of these kids' careers. That, again, one of the drawing factors of training in that dojo system is that opportunity to learn from others. And I just feel like in a lot of cases they don't get that opportunity. In Strong, they might be able to get that opportunity a little bit more because they bring in more people, more talent, more diverse talent. And being able to work with that talent might help that, but it's just not the frequency that they would get if, excursions were allowed.
Classic Catch says, in theory, if Naito and Hiromu were out long term, who would you put as your top 2, or even 3 if one is Ibushi, baby faces over the next 2 years?
So Naito's gone, Hiromu's gone. 2 years. Well, and you said we're taking Ibushi out of the equation. Osprey.
As a babyface.
Oh, we're talking just babyface.
Yeah.
Look, Jay White. We're turning Jay White.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got?
Yeah, I'm racking my brains here for.
Yeah, you're. I'm not saying you're hot.
Sonata.
Right, but I mean, seriously, like, what? Where else are you going? Like, you can't hotshot somebody that strong. I think you already have the built-in seeds of Jay White. You know, you have something you can lean on with past events. I think Jay White's your new babyface.
Spannerhead says, with Noah drawing 4,200 and Stardom having limited tickets left, what are the chances of New Japan having a smaller Budokan crowd than both?
Not very likely. Having smaller than no, they'll have larger than that. It's not going to be as big as as people would want, but it's not going to. They're not going to lose the attendance wars at Budokan. That's for sure.
Okay, dipping some Twitter questions. Juice9100 says, who do you think should be next in line for the junior heavyweight title? Well, I think we've discussed that one already. Without knowing the participants, who is the individual you want to see personally win this year's New Japan Cup? Personally, I mean, can I say Great O'Khan? Can he win the New Japan Cup? Jeff Cobb. Let's go with Jeff Cobb. I think that would be... you throw the cat among the pigeons.
Cobb I wouldn't have a problem with Cobb. How about Osprey?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if he's ready for that because I think he needs to do a bit more work on his character. But Jeff Cobb winning, you could do a similar thing that you did with Zach winning in 2018 to just establish that this is a guy, and to reward him for signing with the company as well. So, and it would be really exciting as well. I think Jeff Cobb, since his heel turn, has been fantastic. His match with Shingo was great. He's capable of having top quality matches. So, yeah, that would be my gut pick right now. Not necessarily what I think would happen, but what I would like to happen as a fun and interesting winner of New Japan Cup. Dark horse would be, Jeff Cobb for me.
How about Shingo?
Yeah, I was thinking Shingo as well. Actually, I would like to see him get a title shot at some point.
Me too. I think any of those two are good, but I kind of lean a little bit more towards Shingo. Kind of lean that way a little bit more, just for my personal wants. That's all. Not to say that it would be better for the company or anything like that, but I'd like to see Shingo win that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this New Japan Cup now. Daryl says, rank these color guys: Corino, Yoshitatsu, Callis, Rocky, Charlton, Gambino, ELP.
It's funny because I was thinking about Corino the other day because I was bringing out old wrestling posters that I had saved that I was on, and there's a bunch of shows where we must have worked with Corino on the East Coast. I don't think I'm exaggerating. 50 times, like he was on every Dennis show that we were on. He was there, and he would get shots with Julio Sanchez. Like he would do jobs on WWF or WWE tapings, like for Shotgun Saturday Night or whatever the fuck their shows were. Like he'd be in a jobber tag team getting tryouts. Corino was always good to us. He was fun. I liked him a lot, and I like his commentating. I do. I think he's got enough wittiness and enough comedic timing that I thought he was really good. Like I thought he did a real good job when he was there. Yoshitatsu was the fucking shits. I think, I also think he was put in a spot to fail. Like that's a tough spot. You're gonna do fucking color commentating in English, and it's not your strong suit. That's unfair. But he was the shits. I like Gino a lot. I think Gino's funny. I kind of like it's almost like a guy who thinks he's tougher than he is in a certain sense with a lot of his comments, which I kind of find funny. I like Chris in the sense of I like Chris when again, everybody loves the fact that he's an encyclopedia of knowledge, and he's able to, he's got I'm sure his notes that, he wants to, and the points that he wants to take and make on these shows. I think he does a good job. I think sometimes people get a little tired of some of his, crazy build to matches. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to hype up a match, and these pre-planned lines that are just like, all right. But I'll never Chris is an amazing thing to me. Being a fan of the product and being a ticket buyer, and then sticking his neck out and writing a book. On the surface, you're thinking, who the fuck is going to buy a New Japan Pro Wrestling history book? You know what I mean? But yet, it was well done. You're trying to cram, a company that was born in 1972 and cram that into a book, the history of. And sure, there was stuff that was missed and not necessarily dug as deep as people may have wanted. But I really thought that was a valiant effort. I told him flat out, I was like, I had that idea, but you did it. You know what I mean? Listen, I have had millions of ideas. Yeah, that's great. He did it. He fucking committed himself and did it. So, and then to turn that into, what he's been able to do. He's living the fucking dream is what he's doing. And I respect that. I not only there's jealousy, there's all of it, but yes, he did what everybody wants. Let's put it that way. He did what everybody wants. He turned a fandom into a paycheck without breaking his neck. That you can't. That's pretty great. Who else is on this list, Joel? Who am I missing?
One I want to give a shout out to is Yoshitatsu. I need to go back and watch. Was it Wrestle Kingdom 9 with him and Matt Stryker doing English commentary?
Yeah. Awful. Yeah, you never watched it?
I'm sure I have, but it was a long time ago. So I maybe sort of go back and make a highlight reel of Yoshitatsu commentary.
It's amazingly awful. But again, I feel it's an unfair evaluation. It would be like me being like, okay, Damon, you're going to go fucking do Japanese commentating. What? Yeah, in English, right? No, in Japanese. And me reading a book on an airplane trying to fucking, I would sound shit. I sound shit in English. Imagine me in Japanese. ELP, hilarious, And again, I like the fact that he backed off that stuff when it needed to be serious. I like that. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. That's him. He did it. Who else? Anybody else I'm missing? Who else am I missing on that list?
I think we've got everyone there.
Right.
Let's move on then. Dr. Gary says, is Yuji Nagata actually the best or just really the best? Made Sanada bearable. Yeah, I would love to see more Nagata because I think he can still go. He's still one of the most accomplished wrestlers that New Japan have. And, I understand he's probably not keen on being a huge part of the book. I'm not asking him to be in the main event scene or anything, but just I'd like to see a bit more of him than we currently see at the moment. Are you
Two questions. Yeah, 2 questions. 1, is he in New Japan Cup?
Yes. I think if they're going to hit 32, which based on the schedule I think they are, he would have to be in it.
Okay. Does he make it past the first round?
We did last year, didn't he? He beat Suzuki in the first round and then lost to Okada. So probably not. He's probably losing straight away. I'd like him to win.
Yes. I'm going to say yes. He makes it to the second round.
Sure, why not? I hope so.
That's my bold take for today.
And also asks, can you see LIJ, Suzuki-gun and Chaos presence long-term post-COVID? I don't know. Chaos, I think, is reaching his expiry date. LIJ, I think, will still be around. Suzuki-gun, I don't know how long Suzuki is going to be around, so maybe that is got a different moniker by that point. But yeah, I would say Chaos and Suzuki, and if I had to pick two post-COVID, whenever the fuck that will be, gosh.
Yeah.
Axel says, can we expect the winner of the Exploding Barbed Wire Death Match, I think that's in AEW, to challenge for Yano's KOPW at Dominion in a Forbidden Door match? I've got morbid curiosity about the Exploding Barbed Wire Death Match.
So, I know I'm going to sound absolutely ridiculous right now, but that I thought that was a joke. That's happening?
Yeah, I think it's Mox versus Kenny Omega in an Exploding Barbed Wire Death Match. Unless I've misunderstood as well, but that was my understanding of it.
Wow. I mean, you got two guys that are going to go a little nutty. And two guys that will make it creative. Not to say that exploding barbed wire death matches are the top of anyone's match of the year in terms of quality. That might be a fucking great match. With those two idiots, they're going to do some crazy shit. That might be fucking amazing. Okay. I'm interested. Doesn't that sound nuts to you, Joel?
Yeah, I mean, didn't they have a crazy lights out, no rules death match or something a year or two ago?
Yeah.
So that was the problem, that they started off at that extreme and then they've had their sort of regular singles match, so they've got to escalate it further.
This could be crazy fun. Look, again, we're talking about two guys who can go. Whew. And you know they're just sitting there salivating at the ideas of impossible spots they can do. When is this fucking show?
I don't know. I was sticking with AEW. Nick says Big Show for Best of the Super Juniors 2021, and Click Clack Kathy says, will Paul White versus Bad Luck Fale happen in this timeline? I know Andrew asked that question as a joke last time, but we're not a million miles away from getting the Big Show wrestling in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But I mean, that was an interesting one. It certainly raised a few eyebrows seeing him popping up in All Elite.
Yeah, I mean, like if you were going to give me a list of guys who are completely loyal to Vince, and would never jump ship, I think he would be in the top 5. So yeah, when I did see that, I mean, he's not an in-ring performer, right? He hasn't wrestled in like forever, right? It's not like he's full-time competitive action, right?
I would not bet against him wrestling sooner rather than later.
Okay. Well, look, it made it look. They're not afraid to fucking sign people. We know that. I'm sorry. I'm still kind of wrapping my head around a fucking exploding barbed wire death match between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. Let's do an AEW podcast. I'm more excited about that than just about anything on this Castle attack.
Bash says, who do you think needs to lose a few pounds due to Hiromu's absence in the junior division? Do you think if Yo is ready to come back, they should bring him in? Yeah, Yo is someone I think I'll be really excited to see back soon. I think he could shake things up in the junior division and maybe have him join a different faction just to add a bit of spice to the mix. And a question for Music, Damon. Has he read Alan McGee's, and will he be checking out the movie that's coming out about him, since a major part of it will be about him signing Oasis and the making of Definitely Maybe?
Yeah, I heard about that. Have I read that book? I'm going to give you a definitely maybe. I don't remember. Yeah. He signed Jesus Mary Chain too. So yeah, I definitely will be watching that. So yes, to answer that question, 100%.
All right, well, that's it for this week. So redcircle.com
Yay!
/shows/super-j-cast. Please give us some money. Discord link is in the show notes at Cobra Kawaii and prowrestlingtees.com/superjcast to get one of our t-shirts. Thanks as always to editor Dan. Find him on Twitter at LousyHero219. Subscribe to the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network for other great shows. Give us a 5-snake review and some kind words on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at the SuperJcast. Thank you everyone for listening and goodbye.